Hello everyone, welcome to Shal Gulhati, Shiva and Mysticism for another episode of Monday with Mahadev. Mahadev, the God of gods, Lord of lords. When did Shivji become that? This was a question I was asked on one of my Facebook groups. When did Shivji become Mahadev? And I said, Shivji did not become Mahadev. He was always that. Alright? So, when was he called that? When did people realize that Shivji is Mahadev? This was the next question. So I thought about it. When actually did people understand that Shivji is Mahadev? There are lots of Devs, but who is the Dev amongst Devs? Was it when Brahma and Vishnu were fighting with each other about who is supreme? And at that time, Shiva was seen. Was it when Bhagirath the Rishi had to bring down Ganga from the heavens to atone for his forefathers, and no one could withstand her torrential downpour? And Shivji was called, and he took her on his matlocks to trickle her down for the others. Was it when Daksh, the great Prajapati, father-in-law of Shivji, had his yagya, which he did in honor of the Vedas, and he did not realize that Shivji, in fact, is the essence of the Vedas? Was it then that some of them realized that Shivji is Mahadev? Or was it when the Samudra Manthan took place and the Devas and Danavas made teams to churn the ocean for Amrit, the nectar? And then there was a problem. There was wish, which was made poison. And according to the laws of nature, the poison had to be had first. And none of them wanted to have the poison. Everybody was only interested in the nectar. Shivji stepped forward and had it so that everybody else could get the Amrita. Was it then that he was called Mahadev? So we have 4 stories here, and I'm going to begin with one, the Brahma and Vishnu one. Now Brahmaji is generally regarded as the father of all gods. He's the old world god, Prachin Samay as we say. And Vishnuji is the sustainer of the world. He who looks after the very functioning of the world we live in. And he comes again and again in his compassion, in different forms. He takes an avatar. Avatar means one who comes from top to the bottom for us. Now these two got into a fight. Brahmaji said, I have created the world, and therefore I am God Almighty. And Vishnuji said, you may have created the world, but I am the one who looks after it. I come so many times in so many forms. I do so many leelas. I save so many people. I'm the one who's running the world, so I am God Almighty. And they started having a fight, and the fight got bigger and bigger. And suddenly, in the middle of all that, there was this huge light, a column of light like a fire, and which had no beginning and no end, and it was so huge, it was like infinity itself. And both of these gods wondered, what is this? Where has it come from? So Brahmaji and Vishnuji said, let's forget our fight for a while and figure this out. What is this? So it had 2 ends. One was skywards and one was towards the earth. So Vishnuji said, all right, since you are older than I am, you can go upwards to the sky and I will go below the earth to look for it. So Vishnuji became a Varaha, a boar, and dug his way down into the earth to look for this, the source of this. And Brahmaji, rode a swan and started going upwards to the sky, higher and higher and higher and higher. And years passed, and both of them went on in their journeys, but nobody saw the beginning of this, neither in the bottom of the earth nor in the skies. But Brahmaji, in the middle of his journey, suddenly saw there were some beautiful yellow flowers which were dropping from the heavens. So Brahmaji asked those flowers, who are you? And the flowers, they were feminine, and they said, I'm Ketki, and I am a devotee of Shiva. This is Shiva. This is his form. This is his original linga, the column of fire. and I come and prostrate to him every day. So Brahmaji said, so where does he begin? Till where does it go? So Ketaki said, I don't know. It's impossible to find out. So Brahmaji says, So he hatches a plan and he tells Ketaki, he says, look, can you do one thing? We'll go back to earth now and Vishnuji will be there. And I will tell him that I have seen the origin of this column of fire and you be my witness. You please say yes. He has seen the origin and I have seen him seeing it. So what could Ketaki do? This was Brahmaji, the father of all gods. So she said, all right. So Brahmaji went down and he asked Vishnuji, so could you find the origin of this big lingam inside the earth? And Vishnuji was honest. He said, no, I tried very hard, but I couldn't. But did you find the origin? So Brahmaji says, oh yes, I did. I went to the top and I saw who it is. And Ketaki was there as well. So Vishnuji looked at Ketaki and Ketaki said, yes. Now while this was going on and Vishnuji said, all right, in that case you are superior to me. Suddenly that column of fire, it broke open and Shivji in this form, the form we see here, he walked out of it, the yogi form, because he had to be recognizable to these people. And he said, it is I am Shiva. And Brahma, you did not see my origin. No one can see my origin. You have lied. And Ketaki was very scared. And Shivji told her, and you have been false witness. You have lied too. As a result of this, I pronounce that Vishnu is superior to you and you shall not be prayed to because you have lied. And you shall be prayed to only in one temple in Pushkar, Rajasthan. And Ketaki, henceforth you shall not come into my temple. Because Shivji was annoyed. So that was the story. And it cleared one fact, that between Vishnu and Brahmaji, it was Shiva who decided who is number one or who is number two. It's always about numbers maybe, right? But he who decides himself for the others, who's the number one Devata, who's the number one God, is of course Mahadev. But then what happens to the other three stories? I will be here again on Monday. So please come to the same channel and see the other stories. And next time we will talk about Ganga and her descent from heaven to earth and how Shivji took her upon his head for all of us. Om Namo Shivaya.